Summer crockpot meals are always an easy way to make a great dish that you don't have to heat up your whole kitchen. Hey friends, my name's Susan and welcome to my home. Today I've got you 5 easy summer crockpot meals. Stuff that you can make or a few that you can make and take with you to family gatherings, cookouts, that kind of thing. So you got a great portable dish that you can just keep in the crock pot and take to whatever event you're going to. So let me put this ponytail up and let's get to making some amazing summer crock pot meals. So come on, let's get to cooking. And let's make some slow cooker cowboy beans. I don't have all the correct ingredients, but I've got the majority of them. And we're just going to make them with what I've got. I've got some fully cooked bacon. I've got some cannellini beans. I didn't have any navy beans, but these will work. I've got some Bush's baked beans, kidney beans, got some onion in the onion keeper, some brown sugar, liquid smoke, and of course the crock pot is going on. And I've got some hamburger browning up in the pan. So let's get this browned up and let's get this all put together so it can go into the slow cooker and make some amazing cowboy beans. And we are going to start these cowboy beans with some pre-cooked bacon. I had some available. I want to go ahead and get it used up. So I'm going to go ahead and shred this up, put it in. Whoop, there one went flying. Put it in the crock pot. And let's go ahead and add the rest of the ingredients. I've already added in 1 whole onion cut up. You can go ahead and heat the crock pot and get that going, or if it's early in the morning and you want to put it on before you go to work, just pop it in there. I've got some cannellini beans because I did not have any navy beans in my stockpile. I've definitely got to get those. I've also got some light red kidney beans that are going in, and some Bush's baked beans. I didn't have any of the pork and beans that normally would go in this, so I am doing the best I can with what I've got. I'm going to go ahead and stir this around real quick. There we go. Look at how good that looks. I know that some people use lima beans. My husband doesn't like lima beans, so that's why I'm not using them. And I also need to add the hamburger. This is 1 pound of hamburger that is drained. It calls for a cup of ketchup. I have added the whole baked bean can, so I'm going to put a little bit less than a whole cup just to see how the consistency goes. I'm not sure how this is going to roll, but you know, I'm using what I got, and that's what's going to happen. I need a 1/4 cup of brown sugar, 1/4 cup brown sugar, and 1 to 2 tablespoons of liquid smoke. I'm just going to pour a little bit. You don't need much because this stuff is pungent. I'm going to go ahead and stir that around. Get all that incorporated in the mixture. And that does smell really good. This is going to go on low for 3 to 4 hours. And we'll see what it looks like whenever we come back in about 3 hours. And hopefully we are going to have some good cowboy beans. And after a couple hours, here is what it looks like in the crock pot. Nice and juicy. And it's been cooking for a couple hours. So it is time to get this going and put this on a plate. I've got some grilled chicken to go along with these cowboy beans. And I've got some cowboy beans and some grilled chicken. Make these in the crock pot for your next cookout. They will not disappoint. This is definitely a crowd pleaser. And we're about to make some slow cooker corn casserole. Quick, simple, easy in the crock pot. That way you can make it and then take it wherever you're going, to the cookouts, the family reunions, whichever way you want to do it. quick, simple, easy, and it doesn't heat up your whole house like putting it in the oven. So let's go ahead and get this put in the crock pot. And I am using my smaller crock pot. I've got 5 different sizes, so y'all know I got plenty. I'm going to put a whole can of corn that has been drained in the crock pot and a whole can of cream style corn in the crock pot. I'm only halving this recipe because it's just Danny and I. I'm also going to put in a whole box of Jiffy corn muffin mix into the crock pot. All right. I have 1 egg that is completely beaten. And I have 1 stick of butter that I'm going to add into the concoction also. Now we just need to get this stirred around. And this is going to cook on high for about 2 minutes or low for about high for 2 hours or low for 4 hours. It just depends on how quickly you need it to get done. I'm going to go ahead and make sure this is all well stirred up. Now the next thing, you can add either cream cheese or sour cream, and I'm going to go ahead and add in sour cream since we have it available, so I don't have to melt any cream cheese. Since I'm doing half the recipe, I'm going to add in about 4 ounces of sour cream. There we go. That looks really good. Okay, and get that also incorporated into the corn mixture. And if you're enjoying this video so far, go ahead and press that little button down below and subscribe. And don't forget, ring that little bell. That way you'll be notified so you don't miss any of the good food and fun. Now I'm needing this a little sooner than later today, so I'm going to go ahead and put it on high for about 2 hours. And then I'll bring you back whenever I open this bad boy up after 2 hours. And 2 hours later, and this is what it's looking like. So let's go ahead and get that plated up. This was so good and so easy. I mean, the crock pot did all the work, and Danny went back for seconds. If that tells you anything, it is amazing. Let's get some pulled pork in the crock pot started this morning. That way it can cook for 8 hours on low while I'm gone to work. I've got my pork butt. It's completely defrosted. I have got barbecue sauce I'm going to put in there because I forgot my pork rubs I normally put on it whenever I smoke it. They're down at the camper, but that's okay. This will do just as fine. I'm going to put a 1/4 of a Vidalia onion in there, and I usually leave the onion in halves and rings. It works good. And then I'm going to put a 1/2 stick of butter in there. I know it sounds weird, but it just makes it taste really good. So let's get to putting everything in the crock pot. And it fit. I didn't think it was going to fit in the crock pot, guys, but it is in there, which is awesome. Now the next thing I'm going to do is put the stick of butter in the bottom of it. There we go. And I'm just putting it in whole because trust me, it'll melt down quite a bit. I'm going to go ahead and add a 1/4 of Vidalia onion. Like I said, I'll go ahead and keep it in the rings, and I just separate them out a little bit. It gives it a good flavor. It doesn't give it an oniony flavor by no means, but it just gives it a good flavor. I can't explain it. It just makes it good. You know me. And now I'm going to put some water and some barbecue sauce on it. And I'm actually going to try to get it about halfway up the crock pot. That way it'll cover the majority of it. Now I've got it about 1 inch away from the top of the crock pot. That should have basically give it a little bit of room to cook a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and pour a little bit more of the sweet and spicy barbecue sauce around the edges. And of course I'm going to keep this out, or keep this to where I can put some more on it when it is completely done cooking. I've got this on low, and it's going to cook for 8 hours, and we'll see what it looks like when we come back from work. And this is what I came home to. Look at that. And it is just falling off the bone. The bone is just about ready to come out of it. I mean, my tongs are going all the way through it. It's so tender and moist. Look at that. I'm going to go ahead and get this shredded up so we can go ahead and start some supper. And I've also got some French fries in the air fryer if you wonder what that sound is. So let's go ahead and let me get this shredded up. I went ahead and shredded the pork. Now I've got some of the juice out, and I just want to put a drop, and I do mean a drop of liquid smoke in that. And I'm going to go ahead and mix this up and then add this back to the meat and add some barbecue sauce to it, because that'll make it taste like it's been on the grill all day. And the French fries are done. The air fryer finally turned off. I'm going to go ahead and put some mayonnaise on the buns. Y'all know we love the mayonnaise down here, and we love it on our pulled pork too. So here we go. There's that. Now I'm going to add some of this pulled pork itself that has been sitting in that juice that I just added some of that liquid smoke to. Look at that. That's what you call a nice good helping. And I'm going to put some of my sweet and spicy barbecue sauce on it, because that is just the way we roll. Alright. Now what would be good is to add that barbecue sauce to the meat itself so all the meat gets absorbed in it, which I may, but Danny's hungry, so I'm just getting it done. This is the easiest way to make pulled pork. The Crockpot does all the work for you. You don't have to worry about standing over a smoker or making sure everything's right. It just works every time. This is mouth-watering. Okay, and I'm trying something I found on Pinterest. I am going to do a whole chicken in the Crockpot. Yes, I know. I was like, what? But yeah, they've got it down, so I'm going to try it. And I'm going to be using this chicken and poultry rub from Lowry's on it. But I'm going to be doing it in the Crockpot. So let's get that little bitty bird in the Crockpot. This recipe is so simple. You just do the aluminum foil into like a ring, and that's what you're going to put your chicken on. Then you put your chicken down on it. Then you'll add the Lowry seasoning on here. I love putting quite a bit of seasoning, and I do pat it into the bird. That way it tries to stay on the bird instead of cooking off of it. But this is good to go. 6 to 8 hours on low, and then you got an amazing meal in the Crockpot. So yes, it's a summer meal, and yes, it's a Crockpot meal. So that is a win-win. Okay, and I've came into something smelling really good. And this, whoop, is fogging up the thing. This is what the chicken looks like, just in the Crockpot with the spices on it. The skin's not crispy, but if you didn't care for crispy skin, this would be all you'd need to do. I am going to go ahead and put it in the oven under broil and let it broil for a little bit, see if I can crisp up the skin. It doesn't need it in my estimations. It looks really good. It's all cooked, and all the juices that cooked out of the bird are down around on the sides of the bird. So it actually did better than I thought. Well, we'll see what it looks like once I put it in the oven, and I'll bring you back to take a look at the final product. And after roasting it in the oven for about 2 or 3 minutes, the skin is crisper. I didn't get it too crisp because I don't care for the skin that much. But it looks golden brown. Mind you, the wing fell off. It's so bright, blasted tender. This would be a great thing to add to the grill after you've cooked it in the Crockpot to get that skin all nice and crispy, because the inside was so juicy. This was a great meal, and it was done in the Crockpot. And I'm going to get these ribs in the Crockpot for tonight's supper. I've just got a pack of country style ribs, bone-in. Of course, they were on discount. You know that's how I buy them. And I'm just going to put them in the Crockpot and put them on low with some barbecue sauce, my favorite kind, sweet and spicy, and some water. And I'll show you how I do that. They all fit in the Crockpot, and I'm basically just going to use the last of this that I've had it setting on its top, and then put a little bit of water in it and put that on top of it, and then pour that on top with the water. I want to make sure that the water goes up to the top of the ribs, but not over the ribs, because they will put off some water of their own. And I do want to put just a little bit more barbecue sauce in here. All right, now that will cook up. I've got it on low, and it's going to do that for about 8 hours while I go to work, and then we'll come home and it'll smell awesome, and we'll make us the rest of the ribs in the oven and get them all nice and ooey gooey with the barbecue sauce. So see you back when I come back from work. And here are what the ribs look like straight out of the crock pot. I'm going to go ahead and put them on a baking dish that's like a strainer, and I'm going to put some barbecue sauce on them and get them ready to go in the oven at 350. And here's what they look like before I put them in the oven, 350 for about 5 to 10 minutes, just to get the barbecue sauce nice and sticky on the ribs. And they're falling apart. They're so tender. These are country style ribs, not anything else. And they are so good. So let's go ahead and get these in the oven and get them cooking, so they'll be ready whenever Danny comes through the door. And this is the perfect thing to put on the grill straight out of the crock pot. You do have to be careful. They do like to fall apart, but this is perfect to slap on some barbecue sauce on, put them on the grill for a few minutes, and get them all nice and sticky. So good. All of those recipes were so great. You mean, you know, Danny? Danny loved that corn casserole. I'm glad he does. Always glad to get some vegetables in him somehow. And if you haven't already, how about pressing that little button down below and subscribe and ring that little bell? That way you'll be notified each time I put a video up. And until next time, see you then.